Check the tape, Jimmy.
Just check the damn tapes right now. Check the last tape. Check the. You know what? Roll tape. Roll tape, M.
You sound like the Green Bay Packers now. Check the tape. Check the tape.
Roll tape when I want everyone to roll the tape. Last show when we were talking about Dennis Schröder, and I had to go to bat for my guy and tell everybody that, you know what, if you want to look at the stats, if you're gonna just look at this box score at the end of the game, then yeah, you can be like, 8 turnovers. Dennis Schröder had an awful game. Listen, Dennis Schröder right now. I mean, tonight at least he won you a game that you needed to win without Giannis and Middleton in the game, and he won you that game. Last game, he was a huge part of that victory, even though he had 8 turnovers.
No, I can't believe you let him lead with this crap.
He's got 60 points in the last. We had to lead with it because it was so fiery to start before we got on.
When we have fewer viewers, we'll let him do it on the front end.
I had to start what you're saying. Listen, Dennis, you're right. Dennis Apology Cam. Somebody commented Dennis Apology Cam. That goes to Sherrod right now because Sherrod was hating on my guy Dennis last game. And now he has to eat his words.
He's a turnover machine?
MVP chance for Dennis Schröder.
Dude, listen, Jimmy.
But listen, Dennis Schröder. Let me finish real quick. I'll let you get your minute or whatever, however much time you want. Dennis Schröder is more susceptible to turnovers because of the style of play of Dennis Schröder. He's a very active player. He's quick. He's fast. He drives down the lane. He whips the ball around the court. And yeah, sometimes he might be a little bit reckless. But you take the bad with the good with Dennis Schröder because what he gives you almost all the time outweighs what he takes away from you. So yeah. You can point to the turnovers if you want. If you're a glass half empty guy, you're looking at the box score like Josue is tonight and saying, 6 turnovers. If you're a glass half full guy like me, you're saying, wow, 38 points tonight. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, I think 38 points will do it. Yep.
Like that's the norm.
Yep, 38. Yeah, I think that'll do it.
Are you done, Jimmy?
I'm done.
Okay, so the Celtics are 500, 6-6, defeat the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis, without Middleton, without Brook Lopez.
Yep.
In overtime. John, you forgot.
And with Dennis Schröder doing his thing. You need 38 from Dennis Schröder to win this game tonight.
And you needed 38 from Dennis Schröder to win it.
But Jimmy's ready to get the duck boats out and do a damn parade.
Hey, I wasn't at the TD Garden chanting MVP tonight.
The Schröder for League MVP campaign.
Hey.
He's ready. Jimmy, here's the problem.
All joking aside, we said that Dennis Schröder was the difference between this team not being a playoff team and being a playoff team. A lot of people said that.
Yeah, I said that too.
And tonight was tonight not an example of that? Jimmy. It's an L without Dennis Schröder tonight, right?
Best thing.
He's hyped.
John, go.
That's it.
John,
That's it.
Go.
Next.
No, I like it.
Okay,
Next.
Jimmy, this is what I just don't understand how you
kid needed a win.
You needed him to have the game of his freaking life to beat a team without 3 of their top 4 players, and you had to do it in overtime at home.
That's not a knock on Dennis Schröder. That's a knock on the rest of the team.
Take nothing away from Dennis Schröder. He had a great game. But Jimmy
will not take anything away from him.
Jimmy, but this is not James Harden.
I'm giving
you can get 38 points and turnovers and still win.
Yeah.
You're not going to get this on a regular basis from him.
I'm not saying you are, but on a night where you needed it, you got it, which is more than you can say for anybody else.
Jimmy, that raises another question. Why the hell did you need him to have a damn near career night when there's no Giannis, there's no Khris Middleton, there's no Lopez, and you're at home and you need to go to overtime?
That's a great question, but
I'm giving your boy Schröder his props. Your boy Schröder balled out. He absolutely balled out. Turned the ball over.
All his good material.
Yeah, I'm not here for anything but Dennis Schröder talk.
Questions, Sherrod.
Listen, if you want to talk about the flaws on the team,
if
you want to talk about the flaws on the team, we can go. We are going to do that. But I just need to
down
come
to the competition, Jimmy.
I needed to come
off.
That's what Sherrod's
trying to say.
Yeah, I needed to come off the top and say that Dennis
Schröder had a James Harden kind of night.
Thank you. And what did I say? What did I say last show?
Lots of points, lots of turnovers.
He's a James Harden type player. Without the name tag,
he's not
without the name tag,
he had to stop
without the flopping and the trying to draw the fouls.
This is why Jimmy can't have nice things. you give him a nice something to work with, and he comes with this bullshit.
Let me just say that
he had a James Harden night, and that's that. He's nothing like James Harden, Jimmy.
I'm not saying he is James Harden, but
Jimmy, I'm giving your boy credit. He had a great night, great game. But that's all it is. It was a great game.
Has Harden dropped 38 in the new NBA?
Nobody dropped 37 tonight, Jimmy. So you're close. It almost happened.
Oh, Harden dropped 37 tonight?
He almost did it on Dennis Schröder night, too.
Well, he didn't, though. He didn't quite. I was going to say, did he drop 37? Did he drop 38 since the new NBA rules about, like, trying to draw fouls and all that stuff? But, okay, he dropped 37. So, shout out James Harden. He had a Dennis Schröder type night.
I can't believe you just spit out your drink, Jimmy, when you said that. I'm impressed.
Listen, I don't want to hijack the show at Schröder Talk. I just wanted to come out hot on Schröder.
He's got 39 now.
That was a segment. That was a segment on last show.
All seriousness, he made big shots, big plays for them, and they had no one else was doing that. So give him his props. But let's focus more on the fact that they got the W and they're 500. I think that's, to me.
Thank you. Finally,
that's kind of the big deal.
Yeah, you're right. They got the W. It was. Listen, we all agree that if they lost this game, we're ripping them for an hour. I mean,
Jimmy maybe kind of sort of was rooting for a loss.
I thought it would be good for content, but I'd like the Schröder performance for content better. I wasn't rooting for a loss, everybody.
As good as your boy Schröder was, I mean, give my boy Smart some props too. Efficient shooting the ball,
letting you do
6 assists, one turnover, and 6 rebounds.
We got the Smart PR team on the show tonight.
Yeah, we got the Dennis Schröder hype train.
What, dude? I'm just telling you what I see out there. That's all.
Jimmy, you lost when you said he's James Harden. When you made that,
I didn't say he was James Harden. I said he had a James Harden. I said James Harden had a Dennis Schröder type night.
Which is bullshit.
It's not even a thing. I'm not gonna lie. I was surprised that this is, I believe, his 14th 30-plus point night in his career. So
yeah,
that's what he does.
But we knew that this could happen. I mean, I think we all knew that about Schröder, but we just wanted to see some consistency.
Yeah. So the Marcus Smart thing. Okay, let's look at these. Tell me. I'm gonna put these numbers back to back here. Tell me what stands out. Okay. There's that.
There's one.
There's that.
Yep.
Okay, what numbers pop off the screen to you?
That's honestly a good stat line.
No. Honestly. 27, 25, 52 field goal attempts from these guys. And again, you got the points, but again, this was the Marcus game that sure you needed Marcus to I mean, he played relatively well. I mean, he and he was, I mean, whatever.
No, I think
it's hard for John to say nice things. Sure, you go.
I think the field goal numbers. I think that was Tatum.
Those are Tatum's field goal numbers. That's what scared me. Marcus had a good game.
Marcus was 7 for 13.
Yeah, Marcus had a good game.
Okay,
That's what when I saw that number popped off my head. Marcus had a good game. He did stuff he doesn't normally do, which is goes to the bucket and he hit a bunch of those tough shots.
And posted guys up.
He's doing that more.
Yeah. That's why I'm sorry, guys. I almost had an aneurysm when I saw that. I was like 20.
Okay,
I was like, wait a minute.
Wait,
those are Tatum's numbers. Tatum had a poor shooting night. Marcus had a much more efficient night.
You put Marcus Smart's name next to those numbers. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take
that.
I'm going to take that's too many shots, but I'm going to take the overall numbers.
Yeah.
But Tatum, listen, we know that he's going through something right now on the shooting thing. He's just going through a shooting slump.
Going
really.
through it again, yeah.
He's just going through it. And great shooters go through it and great shooters get out of it. I don't think anyone is worried that he's never going to figure it out, but that's why you needed this shooter night, because this is the type of night that you would typically get from Tatum, these numbers, right?
Or a night where Tatum shot like this, you hit it from Jalen. Jalen would fill that gap.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. So that's really who he's filling in for.
Schröder had a Jaylen Brown kind of night.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Not as sexy as Jimmy's James Harden, but
not quite.
Although Jalen doesn't turn the ball over that damn much, so you're right. It is more hard.
Well, he doesn't hold the ball as much. He stands in the corner and waits for the ball. Whereas
that's
Schröder's
Marcus Smart, not Jalen. What you talking about?
Oh, true. That's true. Marcus Smart claims that's what he does.
At least that's what I heard.
Even though he's the point guard. Yeah, right. I'm not. Josue, you go. You go.
No, listen. My whole thing
This
about
is the Schroeder game, buddy.
has
Jimmy,
always
you feel
been
bad for talking about
he
Schroeder.
gives you instant energy. He's
Yes.
he has the best interest of the offense at heart. So you take the good with the bad, right? But at the same time, you can't rely on this all the time. Obviously he's been more efficient, or he's been more demonstrative in some parts of the game, right? Because he's like, look, Jalen's not here, I gotta take over. There's some parts of this game, or even in the last couple of games, where he's taking over point guard duties, but that's not getting in the way of Marcus being productive as well. So they're figuring it out. And I think at the same time, when you look at someone like Jayson Tatum, who doesn't have his all-star counterpart with him, he's got to be creative in the sense of being more of that facilitator. And I think we saw a little bit of that. But then we saw when he reverted back to trying to be take over Tatum. And I'm not going to lie, man, I like that look at the end of regulation. I thought it looked good.
It's a great look.
It's too bad it didn't
But the
fall
problem
down.
is, why didn't it go? Why didn't it go? Like, that should go.
At the same time, though, the Celtics closed the door on the Bucks in overtime, which is what they were supposed to do. And your boy Schröder had a lot to do with that. All right, Jimmy. So I'll give you that. There's your boy right there, topping off the win in OT. So that was big.
He did his thing. I mean, listen.
Something didn't happen last year. We didn't have anyone remotely close to that last season. So I'll give you
that. That's the difference. And you know what? Even if Jaylen Brown's playing, Schroeder's in the game in overtime. I mean, he's definitely in that closing lineup. They'll figure out a way to get him in there. I thought Tatum had a great look. I was stunned that it didn't go down. I mean, that was a great borderline bunny.
Face,
kind of a bunny.
John, if he takes a step back three, you're pissed. He takes that shot, you don't like it?
I texted the thread. That's a
no,
good
he
shot.
liked it. That was a good shot.
I like that shot. He's just got to hit it.
Right. I mean,
it's
one thing to get the look. It's another thing.
He's basically, I know it was off one leg. He's basically got, a wide open free throw jumper.
I was surprised. I think he was so open that he surprised himself.
That's got to drop 8 out of 10 times,
Yeah.
I was surprised that Milwaukee didn't actually try to get the ball out of his hands, or at least double him. I mean, they were just basically saying,
him and Portis,
you got this. And I'm like, seriously? Is that?
I didn't like it,
They gave up. They switched. They switched quick.
They didn't even fight it. They just said, go ahead.
Nope.
You know why, Sherrod? Because they were expecting that 3-pointer, And Portis was like, if he's taking the three, I got that. I'll make sure he doesn't, he'll get the toughest look ever. But then he put the ball on the floor. I think that surprised him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was pulling up. I thought he was doing
like it.
I thought he was doing the Tatum. What's funny is I think he was going to, but then he lost.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I think he changed his mind.
Got loose to the right, and he's like, I guess I'll just go that way. And that's how
he lost it, right? It looked like he lost control, right?
He lost it going to his right, and I think that's kind of what was like, all right, I'll just keep going. And he ended up with a much better shot.
Yeah, he tried to play it off.
But I think he was lining up the pull.
He definitely lost control of it.
The sidestep three.
He went straight for the free throw line after he lost it.
Yeah.
I just want to mention, since the reason that shot even happened was Grayson Allen. I mean, what?
Yeah,
that was like some Steph Curry shit. Pardon my language. That
Grayson
3-pointer that he hit there? I know, but it was just like the way he got open for the shot. It was really impressive. I mean, like the ball handling.
What's with these generous comps from Jimmy? Steph Curry and
if you watch that play back, and I hate
Dennis Schroeder and James Harden.
I can't stand Grayson Allen. He reminds me of King Joffrey on King of Thrones or Game of Thrones.
Or Ted Cruz.
He is King Joffrey on Game of Thrones. Yeah. Looks like him, acts like him. I imagine he's spitting image in real life. I will co-sign on that
one, Jimmy. That's a comparison I will co-sign on. Yes.
Thank you. And
you got one right finally.
But he listen. Shout out Grayson Allen for that shot. But like Josue said, Celtics did what they needed to do in overtime. It's so weird. I mean, they go from one overtime where they can't even score. What was it, 3 points in overtime the last time they went there, and now in this one they're just kind of executing and kind of like putting the foot on the throats there. Wow.
I still haven't
John,
gotten past.
Take that comment down right now.
The first episode.
Wow. Take that comment down right now.
Screenshot.
That is a shot. That is one of the worst things I've ever heard.
That's funny.
I got to screenshot that one.
Anyway, before I stumbled over the Marcus thing, I wanted to go back to it. The Marcus, what he was doing today, he was going to the basket. He was getting buckets there. He didn't shoot much in the second half, though, right?
Not really.
I think he had that's why the 20. My bad for the 25. I think he had 11 attempts in the first half or 10 attempts, and then he didn't really shoot much in the second half. And when he gets it going early, I was afraid this was going to be a Marcus like, okay, here we go, let's jacket game, and it wasn't that at all. It was a total Schröder takeover.
Well, he only does that when he feels like Tatum's the only one.
It wasn't that game at all for Marcus.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think also Schröder, like I said earlier, he has the ball in his hand a lot. So I think Marcus sort of let things play itself out because it was in the best interest of the Celtics. Right. Schröder took in, and so was Tatum.
Yeah.
Smart was like 2 for 7 shooting in the first half. So
yeah,
much more efficient.
Yeah. Good for good overall game for the backcourt. If you eliminated, what was weird is this game felt like it was always in hand, but never got it didn't feel even down 4. You're like, not really worried. It was one of these weird games where you're like, it felt like they were eventually going to stretch it, and they just never did. So I'm surprised it got to the point where it went into overtime.
Well, they had them. They let them.
I felt like they could have at any
they were
point
up
in time
6,
turned 6 and 8 to 10, 12, 14, and ran away, and they just never did. So it's easy to say like Milwaukee had all their players missing. I'll still put this in the good win category. I think here for tonight, I'll take it. It wasn't pretty. It was frustrating at times, but enough good things to pull it off. And then they turned up the gas in OT, and that was that. So that's when it counted, it happened. It wasn't the prettiest game of all.
I think you take that. Well, at least in my opinion, you take this as a good win because, let's be honest, guys. How many trap games are that's going to go through this season? It's going to be a handful of them. A lot of these games where we're on here talking about what the heck happened and how could this team come in here or how could the Celtics blow this huge lead?
We've had a couple already, so
that's going to happen. So to see them do this, to get out, and without Jaylen Brown in an overtime game, sure, maybe they shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with, but they fought. They showed heart, and at the end of the day, the execution down the stretch was really what we want to see more often because this is their second home win, the second win at home, and we were hoping this is the beginning of things to come. This is going to be
weird because they downshifted into that late game offense thing when you're like, what are they doing? And then they started OT with it, and then they took off. Now I've been spinning my wheels on Marcus because I've been waiting for this graphic. But this is what I've wanted to point out is this. Now, this was talked about a ton.
Yep.
The post Bulls commentary with Marcus and the overwhelming consensus. And I'm not taking a Jimmy Toscano style victory lap over this, but I like them. I like the comments because it fell under the line of uncomfortable conversation that people weren't willing to have. Ime wasn't prepared to deliver because he's a new coach, and I felt like something had to be said. And every member of the Celtics, he shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't have said it. Well, you know what?
He did.
You're all playing a lot better since he said it, and it could have been 5-0 if not for Marcus actually screwing up the Dallas game. So he hurt his own. It'd be 5-0 if he could have stayed out of his own way just for those 2 possessions late in the Dallas game. But they're playing better. Coincidence? I don't know, but
I don't think so. I think there is a correlation between the two because again, it was so just nuclear when that bomb dropped that everything changed. Everything changed. All of a sudden, you had Brad coming out saying, "Hey, we don't really agree with that." And then you've got Jaylen Brown saying it wasn't that big a deal. And then yet you're watching them play. They're playing harder. They're playing more connected. They're playing together, getting more contributions. You're having your boy Dennis Schröder having a James Harden kind of game. Everything has changed from that point on. And for them for folks to say that, no, that had nothing to do with it. That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit.
It's so funny.
Let me ask you a question.
We've got people in the comments who think this is the overrating Marcus portion of the show, and it's
the impact of his words.
And the same amount of people in the comments they're looking for a way to bash Marcus. It's so freaking funny.
But listen,
this isn't a bash. How is this a bash?
No. But let me ask a question to you guys then. Okay, Marcus Smart said what he said, and it, ruffled feathers and all that stuff. But Jaylen Brown's also been out the last 2 of these wins and a loss,
and they still found a way to win.
Right. But how has him being out kind of changed the way that they've had to play differently? Right. I mean, Marcus Smart's calling out basically Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. Jaylen Brown's no longer playing right now. So obviously roles are changing and the style of play has to change. Dennis Schroeder's not probably getting the ball as much as he is and taking shots as many shots as he is, and probably neither is Marcus Smart. So the style of play has to change. So is that a portion of it might be Marcus Smart, but how much of that is also just like they have no choice but to change. You can't just give the ball to Jayson Tatum because now everyone knows it's going to Jayson Tatum. Like you literally can't
also,
do that.
For me at least,
and also he's not even hitting shots right now, anyways.
But for me, it's the heart and the effort, and also it's the way they went about those wins, right? The way they topped the Orlando Magic, the way they beat the Miami Heat. I mean, obviously that's their most impressive win of the season, and especially on the second night of a back-to-back.
Yeah,
I think it was more of a okay. If Marcus is going to call us out here, it's not just about Tatum and Brown. I think the team in itself, just altogether, you just saw a different approach in guys. And I think there is a correlation between the two. I really do. I just think when you look at the roster and the fact that the majority of these guys were on this team last year and, we're through the thick of it with obviously another head coach, I think Marcus took it upon himself to say what he said because he was saying to himself, A, who else going to say it? And B,
right.
Eman can't do it. So I'll do it. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the captain conversation ended. Like it's just he's the unofficial captain. Okay, that's it. I think everyone agrees with it. I think that's what I think at the end of the day, Ime, along with a couple of other things, that really contributed to him saying, you know what, forget this captain thing. We're already 10 games into the season. Let's just keep going from here. So
yeah. And if you want it all summed up in a nice little tidy package, I wrote a column about it on CLNS Media, saying,
"Oh wow,
yeah, glad it was said. Someone had to say it. Fine." And they didn't react well to it, and they didn't want to say it. And all of the comments all of the comments we've heard after is, "I didn't need to hear it. I didn't need to hear it." Maybe you did.
Yeah, because I mean the gist of what
that's
he was
what
saying
somebody says when they don't need to
like it.
Jayson Tatum's like nothing's changed. All right.
Yeah.
The two best players. I mean, the thing about it was that his point was our two best players have to play better. Yeah. They have to be better. So that the rest of us can be better.
What's funny is Tatum really hasn't. Maybe one game.
One game.
He's doing different things better, right, than scoring. He's not just being on one-dimensional. He's trying to find other ways to help them win.
4-1 defense overall has been better.
Hey, you can't argue. You can't argue with 4-1. You can't argue with 4-1.
The whole team's playing with greater effort.
I mean, it could have gone. It could have gone one of two ways, right? I mean, they could be 1-4, and everyone's saying, "Oh my God, this team is just shot." Right? They're they hate each other. They're arguing. Yeah, start over. Do whatever you can to rebuild this quickly. But no, like they're 4-1.
Trying.
It's the
Tatum's
small.
A little risky, honestly, just a little bit.
Tatum's failure is more. He just can't find his shot yet. And he knows it, but he's frustrated. But he's trying a little bit better to mixed results.
Sure,
a little bit better. I mean,
he did have a big three.
He had a
big
playmaking game last game. He didn't really have one tonight. Tonight was a overall not great Tatum game. It was a low assist game, low percentage shooting game, a little bit too much ISO early in the ball game. It wasn't great. But he just can't get out. Some of the misses tonight were way off. I mean, he had a couple capital B bricks on clean looks. So I don't know what's going on with him. There's something off with the stroke, but I do think he's been trying to be a little bit better. What do you got, Jimmy?
Nothing, literally. I'm listening. I'm just preoccupied for a second there.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Jimmy, are you swiping again?
No, not right now.
He's like, Schroeder had a big night.
I never swipe on the clock.
Never?
No, never. Too much pride.
I think it goes back to what he said.
Too much respect for John.
When he was like, well, first of all, what he said to Marcus, which obviously what he said was a shot to Marcus when he said, I do know how to play basketball. I remember when Marcus said, like, I like basketball. I like to, in other words, let's swing the ball around or whatever. And he also said, I'm going to, one, I'm not perfect, obviously, but two, I'm going to approach this game the way I know how to do it, and I'm going to do me. And like, no one's going to tell me how to approach the game. So, but at the same time, it's one of those conversations where it's like, I've already been saying this, man. I've been saying it through training camp, and I was saying that, I'm trying to, attack rim more and be more of a facilitator. But we haven't really seen that, And I think that's what Marcus was trying to get out of him. Like, yeah, you've been saying all the right things, and it looked great during the preseason, but it would come and go, right, throughout that first 4 or 5 games. I think that was sort of Marcus's goal. It was like, okay, well, I'm going to wake you up in this way, and let's just see how you respond to it. And now we're seeing it, right now, 3-1 so far.
Yeah. Harden, by the way, just inched ahead, Jimmy, and finished with 39 tonight. I'm sorry.
I see that. 39, 12, and 6 3-pointers. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How many turnovers?
Right there.
That's a great question. How many turnovers? I don't know. They didn't put that in the Twitter graphic that I just looked at. Weird. They don't care about turnovers as much as you do all the time. Weird how that is.
Because turnovers obviously have nothing to do with winning and losing, obviously.
No, they have something to do with it, but I think 39 points probably has more to do with it than 6 or 7 turnovers.
6.
He had 6?
You're probably right. I mean,
he had 6. Wow. That's crazy.
Just like Schröder.
Just like Schröder. He wants to be just like him.
But there is one difference, though, Jimmy. There's one difference, pretty big difference. When James Harden was on the floor, Brooklyn was plus 17. When your boy was on the floor, 3. Plus 3.
We're comparing completely different games.
Jimmy, don't
get into comparing plus minuses right now.
Listen, don't go Deion Sanders and start backpedaling now, mother. You brought him into the
We all know plus minus only really matters if you're a bench player, really. You want to come in as a bench player and know that you made a difference. If you're a starter, you're in there, give or take with what's going on. You're really not going to make a huge deal with plus minus. Bench players care about plus minus. Nobody else really cares about plus minus.
I don't agree.
Okay, ask around. Ask around, Sherrod.
Dusted off that take just in time.
Sherrod, I know you talk to a lot of players.
Jimmy, the only stats that they care about are the 1st and the 15th. those are the numbers that matter.
That's why Dennis is playing the way he is, because he doesn't want to have another situation that he had.
See why you got to bring that? See, Jimmy.
No, man, I'm just saying. I'm not bringing anything up that
that's the Jimmy that I know. The salty Jimmy, the one that's coming up with that. Yeah.
1st and 15th. Well, guess what? Payday's in a couple days for my man.
Boom. Right on time.
That's it. Right on.
Season
check
high
on Monday.
I didn't get to take my Rob victory lap last game, but you guys say he was pretty good.
Yeah, you missed out.
Yeah, we figured that you were going to watch the game alone somewhere, watch the highlights back, and just sort of revel in the performance.
He was pretty good tonight, though. I mean,
pretty good.
Double, made every shot he took. That plus 13 doesn't matter, though.
It was a Rob night.
Yeah.
No, it was a Rob type night, I should say. That's the type of stat line that we were accustomed to seeing last year. Yeah. Field goal percentage.
Goal
higher than 80%. Oh God! Here we go with the fake soccer fan guy over here. What do you got, John? What do you got?
Revs playing?
Revs aren't playing. Actually, they don't have a game for like 3 weeks. This is like playoff MLS. The regular season ends and then they don't play again for 3 weeks. It makes 0 sense.
Pulisic.
No, and then it gets ridiculously cold.
Pulisic in his first game back, USA Mexico, he was the sub because his fitness in soccer you say fitness instead of condition isn't up, so he couldn't play the full 90.
Football.
He just came in like minutes ago and scored 1-0 USA.
1-0.
Oh, you're watching a qualify. Oh,
there's nil, Jimmy. Thank you for the correction. This is a big one though. This is a huge one.
It's US versus Mexico, right?
Yep.
I read a headline today because I only read headlines. I read a headline that it's probably one of the last times these two teams play. I don't know why that is, but apparently the way that the schedules are going to change, the USA might not see Mexico very often anymore, which apparently is kind of a downer because it was a rivalry.
It's a good one. Yeah.
And that was talking soccer. So what else?
Nothing. This is a hard game to talk about because it was the Dennis Schröder show, and we're looking for other things to talk about, but that was mainly it. It was a depleted Milwaukee team in a game you should have won that you got your butt saved by Dennis Schröder dropping 38 points. And Jimmy, used up all the good stuff in the first 3 minutes of the show.
You know what the sad thing is, though? If you want to do a sad spin, if you want to do a sad spin on the type of game this was, Dennis Schröder, as good as he was tonight, I think we all know he's a rental. He's here he's here. He's like a missionary. He's here for a year, He's here to do his thing and then go off and do his thing somewhere else for more money. I don't think there's a situation where the Celtics are going to be able to re-sign this guy based on the situation that they're in. Guys would have to go. So would you trade a current player to make it work to re-sign Schröder? And by current player, I mean a guy like Smart.
I can't fathom cutting loose guys that you've been around for years and you kind of know what you're dealing with for a guy who's had a pretty good 10-game stretch, but it's not like he's setting the world on fire. I mean, this isn't like when Isaiah Thomas jumped into the starting lineup and was just killing it night after night after night.
No.
Schröder's had like maybe 3 or 4 good games, maybe.
Jimmy's like,
no, I'm not saying. Listen, the good news is you don't have to make that decision today. I'm just saying, like, if
can I get back to Rob for 1 second because I got distracted.
Oh,
What?
We're just going in on this situation. Yeah, go on, John. What do you got?
Why won't they give him the ball?
Because you need this option.
Like ISO?
Ever.
They give him the ball.
So rare he gets the ball in a half court set.
I don't know how good he is with the ball.
He's their best passer. They should be running.
So you want them to give him the ball so that he can give up the ball?
I think he can distribute. I especially like it when he gets the ball high, but they never work it down to him and out.
Yeah, you're talking about like the high-low sets with like Al Horford.
Ever.
I don't think he's ready yet, but
Yeah,
I think that could be something that happens down the road this season. But
I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of that come about in the spring playoffs.
Right.
Because there's a part of me that think that there's like basically like mile markers that Ime has kind of really broke off that we're going to do this between games 20 to 30, 20 to 40. Right. We're going to do this 41 through 60. And I to your point, John, we see the same thing. I mean, he's really good.
Yeah.
When he has the ball in his hands. And
I know he's not a post threat, as everybody's saying here, but he's good with the ball in his hands. He makes good decisions.
Yeah.
I think he's a great passing big, absolutely.
But I think
high-low.
One of the reasons why they're hesitant to do that is because he's not a good post scorer. Like Al Horford.
He's not.
But at least Al can put the shoulder in your chest and get you a bucket. Rob doesn't really look to be that kind of physical scorer around the basket. All of his points pretty much are lob dunks or dump off passes for where he's able to finish in traffic or finish over someone. You don't see him a lot of times get the ball on the block, back guys down, shoot a fadeaway, or do some type of scoring motion. That's not who he is.
I wouldn't say he's not like dominant in that way. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like give the ball to Rob and clear it out and let him do his thing. He's not there yet.
I would like to see them at least, like John said, I would like to see them try at least once or twice a game, though.
Just something.
I think it happens eventually. I mean, I just think this season there's going to be – that's a great way you put it, the way you said it, Sherrod, like those check marks throughout the course of the season. And I think one of those marks is going to be slowing down Al a bit, gearing him up for the postseason, gearing him up for – that April stretch where you want to build that momentum and go right into the playoffs. So I think that's when you'll see more of Rob be a part of the offense and having the ball in his hand.
I like it away from the basket because he's a good passer, and I actually think he can knock down the 12, 14-footer. He doesn't have – he's shown the ability to knock that down from time to time, but he's just kind of stand out of the way and look for the offensive rebound right now on offense. The offense plays great. The numbers when he's on the floor versus off are off the charts, so it's hard to argue with what they're getting offensively with him. I think the overall offensive rating is – it's astronomically high, and the net rating I see 7 or 8 plus points when Rob is on versus when he's off. So he's impacting it on offensively even without touches. I just would like to see a few more. That's all. And again, we're talking about evolution of his game. It's a bummer when he's got 3 shots, 4 shot attempts, 5 shot attempts. I do think that he can be a little bit more involved, and that's just running more plays, just a little bit more. Even on the roll, they just don't look to him a ton for that. He really is an afterthought, I feel, a lot of times on offense. But
Schröder can get the ball out of his hands. Maybe Rob can get more touches.
Yeah.
Jimmy's not even listening. Never mind.
I'm listening. If Schröder can get the ball out of his hands, you're trolling me.
I'm just joking. I just want to get you fired up.
You know what, though?
Believe me, the ball
they were last season. They were doing that a lot more. They were giving the ball to Rob a lot more. So that's something that maybe will just come in time. I don't know. New strategies going on there.
Yeah, but it was like a revelation, though. Remember that?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, now maybe teams are defending it differently.
And he's jumping higher and higher, and John's losing his mind like every game. Like, why doesn't he play more? I feel like it was more of a revelation in the sense of like, we haven't had someone like this, so let's see how high he can jump. And like teams, this is before they were starting to game plan for him. And now I think going into the season, the secret's out. Like people are hip, and especially after that new contract extension. So,
I didn't hear the whole stat. It was last game, but like I think it was the Celtics have a huge. I don't know what the numbers are. I'm not even trying to guess. They have just a huge lead in alley oops already this season. Like some teams like never get anything. They don't even have alley oops. Like nothing even close to it. And the Celtics are pretty high up there already. So I imagine Robert Williams is a huge part of that. So it's not like it's not happening. But I think to John's point, you'd like to get him more involved in the plays, like draw plays for him in some way, shape, or form, as opposed to him just sort of being in the right place at the right time or grabbing the offensive rebound. He had a really nice big offensive rebound tonight in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And Smart had a good one. It was defensive rebound, but when he got fouled, that was a nice one too, where Portis kind of got him on the head. Mm-hmm. But yeah, to your guys' point earlier in the show, they're showing a lot more effort's the easy word to use, but there's just something about the way they're playing right now that you didn't see. Purpose, maybe. You didn't see it in the first, few games of this season. It almost felt like they just weren't ready for the season. It was like they needed a few more preseason games or something, whatever it was. But now they're kind of playing with a little bit more purpose. They're playing with some pride. And, yeah, this is the game that they probably should have won by 10 in regulation based on the fact that no Giannis, no Middleton. But this happens in the NBA all the time. A team's best player's out, and somebody comes in and they, give it a good run, and the other team might be get caught on their heels a little bit. It's the NBA. It's everyone can play to a certain extent. Obviously no one is Giannis, but you can't just take a game off and expect to win. So the Celtics luckily were able to
I think they eased up on the gas at the start when they realized Giannis wasn't going to be there. I think they came out very locked and focused. It
was deflating a little.
Yeah, it was. And I think it took them a little bit of time to kind of recalibrate and just realize, wait a minute, they don't have Giannis. I'm dealing with his brother. I'm not dealing with Giannis. I'm dealing with his brother out here. Let me take the ball off the dribble and try to get to the rim. Yeah. I'm dealing with Pat Connaughton, who's a good player, but he ain't Khris Middleton.
No, he ain't. Pat Connaughton.
No, he got bounced though. Damn,
you got Bobby Portis. Hold on, guys. We gotta pay some bills. So I want to tell everybody again, quick.
Oh yeah.
Our sponsor, Raycon earbuds. It's never too early to start gift shopping for the holidays, or get them yourself.
Get them yourself.
Seamless Bluetooth pairing, comfortable noise isolating fit. Start listening right away. Audio quality is amazing, comparable to what you get from the premium brands, but it's half the price. New everyday earbuds come with 3 sound profiles: pure mode, balanced mode, bass mode. Jimmy knows what that is.
Big bass mode guy. All about that bass.
These are the Dennis Schroeder of earbuds.
Yeah,
folks.
They are.
I don't know what that means, but I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
You're paying for Hardens. You're paying for Hardens, and you can go get the Schroeders right now.
Exactly.
You know it. You know why it's the Schroeder, because you're getting it at a a price right now.
Exactly.
And it might not be that price.
That's the joke Sherrod and I are trying to make, Jimmy. Yes.
You got him for 20% off right now.
That's where we're going with it.
Got it.
So go to buyraycon.com.
Good performance too, but good performance too, though.
Yeah,
you get good performance.
We're saying all of that.
Yeah.
So go to
Ray J's company.
buyraycon.com/garden. That's buyraycon.com/garden. Up to 20% off your Raycon order. This is a limited time, like super limited. It might be like just through this weekend. So go check it out if you want to get yourself some earbuds. Couple other things I wanted to talk about tonight, guys. In this game, who didn't play or who didn't do much. Again,
Peyton who?
He gets the mask off.
With the trademark logo, too.
Yeah, and Jimmy's boy, Peyton.
No, it's Bobby's boy.
Bobby's boy, Peyton, and your boy, Neesmith are
barely.
Bobby's
boy. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
A big reason I think he's not crazy about Schröder. He never has been.
Yeah, Bobby won't give Schröder any love.
Yeah, he's pissed tonight.
Yeah, he's not happy with it because he had big hopes for Pritchard. He thought Pritchard was going to be the sixth man, maybe the sixth man of the year. To be honest, I think he actually, in his heart of hearts, thought that.
You mean for the main Celtics?
He might. He right now doesn't even qualify for that. But you're right. That could be what's looming.
2-0, as they say in
2-0. What do we got? Who scored now? This is one of those nights where I can't even go on Twitter in these moments because everyone's a fake soccer fan and pretending to care about this game that I don't even know what it means, to be completely honest. Does it mean anything in the grand scheme, John?
Yes, it's important.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds very important. Listen, Pritchard and Neesmith are buried.
You can tell in the tone of his voice, right?
Pritchard and Neesmith are buried, and it's honestly nobody should be happy about this. This is a shame because this has been a pattern now for the Celtics for the last 4 or 5 years now. They draft player or players, and they can't sniff the court, and then they eventually just disappear, and that's why you don't have, or you didn't have, good depth, good bench help, and you have to go to free agency or you have to prey on like a buyout or a trade. The best teams in the NBA right now have like these young players coming in, stepping up, providing.
Jimmy.
What, John? Providing bench
No,
roles.
you're seeing Maxi's box score from the other night and stuff like that.
Right.
It just makes you want to cry.
And that's how you go from a contender from a playoff contender to a title contender, because you're adding organically through the draft. Yes, Sherrod.
But Jimmy, okay, I hear what you're saying, but the question that always comes up whenever these conversations come up is, whose minutes are you going to take away so they can get them? Do you play Smart less? Do you play your boy Schröder less? Tatum less? I mean, whose minutes are going to be cut
maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think most teams are going like 8-9 man rotations and like figuring out a way to get some of these young guys in. My point is, if they were good enough, you wouldn't be having to figure out. You wouldn't have Schröder, is my point. You wouldn't have Schröder. You wouldn't have Richardson. These guys would be coming in and doing their thing for a fraction of the price and twice the production. But you don't have that, so that's why you have these guys. And you wouldn't be trying to figure out a way to get them in over Schröder and Richardson because those guys wouldn't be on the team.
Yeah, but I think that's the biggest reason why I'm all set with the rotation right now. Like, I don't think this team is in a dire need of.
It's a rental rotation, Josue. Right, it's a 1-year rental rotation.
No, I know, I get that, but this guy has to earn
his
keep. He's got to earn his stay. I mean, look, between all the other options that you have in the backcourt and the fact that he's in his second season, I said this from the beginning of the season. The way Payton can separate himself from the rest is if he becomes a knockdown 3-point shooter, something that this team doesn't have. They don't have a weapon like that. He hasn't done that yet. And he had that opportunity those first couple of outings, or first handful of outings, and it hasn't clicked yet. So until that happens, I don't see it being any other way unless one of these guys get hurt. One of the guys in the backcourt, one of the guards.
Who are you taking out right now? It doesn't make sense. When Schröder came, I knew that was it for Pritchard. I knew he was in trouble. And Schroeder, and what's even worse, Jimmy, is Schroeder starting so much. There should be second unit minutes running the point there for Pritchard, and there's not. So, I mean, I don't know how much is the mask. I don't know how much is whatever in year two. I don't know. Maybe he was just overused last year because there just weren't options, or you had those so many games with Kemba out and Smart missed time. And so you just had no choice. I mean, you had games where you were starting friggin' what's his name?
Tremont Waters.
No, the other dude, man.
Shemi Ojale.
Come on, the point guard who went to the Bucks.
Oh, Shemi Ojale. You just said it.
No,
I said Tremont Waters, dude.
Oh my God. We're really not going to get this?
Teague.
Oh,
sorry. There's too many of these guys.
I was like Bucks. Yeah, I was like, how many
starting? And
wait, where did Tremont Waters go?
And then
I thought he went to the Bucks too.
Team.
He was in a camp.
Your point's made. Your point is made, John.
Yeah,
but
so
it's just sad.
Right,
it's just sad. Yeah. That's all. And
Josue,
I think it's a little unfair. I think it's a little unfair to say, "Oh, Pritchard can't knock down threes." Like, I mean, I think
Schroeder checks every single other box better than Pritchard. So it's like, what's
I agree. Shooting,
dude. I agree with that.
We thought face mask less Pritchard was going to play tonight. I thought that was a big development, and we didn't see him.
Again, it kind of goes back to the Neesmith thing. It's like you're gonna bench a guy for the rest of the season because he started the year, 0 for 8 or 0 for 10 or whatever. I'm not even saying Pritchard did that, but Neesmith did that, and now he got summoned to the bench, and you didn't see the light of day again. It's
Thank God, where there's some bad players on that team last year.
Right.
I know, everyone's mad.
I think when Pritchard has played, generally speaking, like
you got them all riled up, bringing up those names, Jim.
He's done fairly well.
So bad. We ran through everything. It just brought all those bad feelings from last year back.
I mean, let me ask you a question. Why do we watch Summer League? Why do we even watch Summer League then? I mean, I guess we're just sick and we're just obsessed with basketball, so we watch it. But we watch Summer League and we go, oh, wow, Pritchard, Nesmith are leading the Summer League team. The Celtics are going to win the Summer League championship. Oh, there's Romeo in the corner. It's like, and then what? Like, are we just all in denial of what we're watching? It's like, why go through all that? I mean, if it's just a complete waste of time because these guys are never going to play in the NBA, I find it hard to believe. I think Pritchard's good enough to get some level of burn. I think he's a good enough offensive player. I know he has his limitations defensively due to his size, but when you're talking about pure shooting, Josue, I think he's one of your best three-point shooters on the team. Now, he just doesn't get. Yeah, we haven't seen it this year because we haven't seen him this year. He doesn't get the opportunity. The NBA is all about opportunity. It doesn't matter what team we're talking about. There's so many great basketball players that just don't get the opportunity, and they end up going overseas and whatever, doing their thing. That might end up being Pritchard. But I do think that he has the ability to score. It's just it's got to be the right situation, I guess, or the right matchup. But right now, they're just not getting the opportunity. Him, Nesmith, Romeo is starting to see more opportunity. So that's nice because, again, you just want to every year you have to make a decision. Are they going to pick up these guys as options, or are they going to re-sign these guys, or what are they going to do? They're just going to run out the clock, and you just never know what you're getting. That's what I'm saying. Over the last 3, 4, 5 years, it's sad. It's just sad. Like they haven't hit on like John said, like a Maxey, for example. They just haven't, and those guys are out there. Pritchard, I still think is a good pick at the point of where they got him late in the first.
Nah, he has been the same since he lost that chip. That Summer League chip, he hopped on a plane. He was
dropped 92 in that pro-am game.
There's a bunch that are gonna hurt there.
We criticized him for that. I don't feel like nobody else did, but we did criticize him for that. We were just kind of like, wait, what?
Look
he
at
left the Summer League to go to a rec league game.
I mean, look at how his basketball career has gone since that moment. Seriously, I mean, not even trying to be funny, but it hasn't been great. It hasn't been great.
Like even in those preseason
priorities aren't in order. Yeah. Honestly, that was the weirdest move I've ever seen. Like that was so weird. And we said it on the show. We were like, "Wait, why isn't he? This is the NBA. Like, what could he possibly?" And
then he got locked up by somebody who
playing the game for
getting real minutes, in the league.
Yeah. I'm not trying to hate on him for that again, but
Constitution in MVP Peyton Pritchard.
Hey, you guys see Taco balling out?
9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Who's going to be there?
You guys see Taco? When we used to play, man.
Yeah, I might pop
every
in.
morning.
No, thank you.
Y'all miss Taco balling out in the G League?
Yeah, I miss Taco balling out. What's he doing in Cleveland? Is he getting any burn?
He dropped 22 the other night.
You're kidding.
In the G League, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, look at your face.
I was like, I would have heard about that.
He was like, what?
That's why I left that part out.
I would have led the show with that.
We're back to back with Cleveland Saturday, and then back on Monday. 2 games there. Sherrod is not going to Cleveland.
Lucky.
Oh, lucky you.
I know.
I'm going to Atlanta.
Going to Atlanta.
Hey.
Oh, I bet you are. I bet you are.
Yeah,
I want to go back.
And we're gonna wrap tonight. This is a fairly uneventful game and not a ton. It's Friday night, and we'll let you all go celebrate and the USA victory 2-0 here, 2-0 over Mexico. 2-0. Yep, Jimmy loves it. Jimmy recorded it, and he's gonna go back and watch it now.
Who scored the second goal?
I think it was McKinney. Anyway,
Clint Dempsey. Is he still on the team?
No, he's not.
Clint Dempsey.
Not anymore. No. Yeah, that's right. I went there.
One thing I wanted to talk about real quick, just to make Celtics fans feel the Celtics have won 4 out of 5, so there's plenty to feel good about. But everyone loves watching other people struggle, particularly players who were here before. And Tibbs benching all the Knicks starters last game, including
awesome.
Kemba and Fournier, and calling them all out. And the numbers for that starting unit, they're like -4. It's the worst unit in the league right now. That starting 5, they are just trash.
And his post game presser was just precious.
Yeah.
He was asked about just time and things like that, and Tibbs was like, well, you talk about guys needing 10 games and then 20 games and then 30 games, and then he was just like, it's just all bullshit. Yes. I love Tibbs.
He's the man for that.
He's the man for that.
That stuff definitely makes people feel a little bit better because you see, Jimmy likes his YouTube highlights, so he sees like
I'm a huge YouTube highlight guy.
Kemba scores a couple of buckets and Jimmy's like, "Oh, Kemba, I miss you." And
I used to catch it on Sports Center.
That was like a month ago, though.
The reality is that team is trash. That being said, Kemba had 26 tonight, but they lost.
The Knicks are trash. I don't know if the Knicks are trash, dude.
They're not trash, but that team was has hit
They're free agents, maybe.
Yeah.
They lost to the Hornets tonight, huh?
They're struggling a bit.
Yeah, I mean they are the Knicks, so they're always going to have that aspect.
And they have a better record than the Celtics, but they've hit a little rough.
Yeah, I was going to say, man.
Well, the crazy part, the Celtics are only 2.5 games out of first.
Yeah,
Celtics are only 2.5 games out of first in the East.
Yeah. Kemba, by the way, 26 points tonight in 31 minutes and a minus 23.
Hurts to hear.
That whole starting unit, minus 18 for Randall, minus 11 for Fournier in 27 minutes. He only scored 5 points.
Well, as I told you guys earlier, plus or minus doesn't matter for starters. It only matters for the bench.
No, but that unit,
no, you're right.
Is losing all their minutes.
Speaking of point guards who we kind of talked a lot about last season, John Wall may not even play this season for the Rockets because he makes too much money and he doesn't want to play or something. I don't read the whole story, but basically he doesn't want to play and the Rockets don't want to play him, I guess, and they can't trade him or they won't trade him until next season because he's probably worth more next season as an expiring as he is this season. You guys seen that story? Anyways, John Wall was the guy that I kind of wanted last season. I guess I'm basically.
I read a headline about USA and Mexico aren't playing anymore. You guys know anything about that? Jimmy,
no, we're talking about point guards from last. We're talking
Jimmy,
about
we're
point
here
guards
to serve
from
up
yesteryear.
facts, not to just throw shit out there and hope that somebody knows the answer.
No, I was thinking that you guys maybe
it might be an important game against Mexico. You guys hear about that?
US won, isn't it over? US beat Mexico. It's over. It's over. And it's over for John Wall.
I think we all knew that John Wall was going to get shut down. I was thinking maybe if anything after right before the trade deadline,
he might play.
Bring him out there and dangle him out there to see if they can get him into some kind of trade, but it's not going to happen.
The whole point was to preserve him for a trade, but nobody wants him, so they're just not going to play him.
They're like, man,
they're not going to play him until somebody wants him.
They're like Philly.
No one's going to want him until
Ben Simmons. That's the market right now.
It's a Simmons situation. But last year, I was kind of pumping the John Wall tires. I was on the John Wall train, but I was probably wrong for that one.
You probably were, Jimmy. I think you probably were.
Hear me out. The money aside, I thought that John Wall would have been a nice fit for that team.
If you could get John Wall for $5 to $10 million, then boom, do it.
Yeah.
Even 20 million. I would do 20 million.
I wouldn't do 20. Hell no.
Get him on that Kemba contract.
He's making 40 something.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing about it is Houston's just not going to play him because they want to develop young talent and take losses. So they just don't want to be anything to do with Wall, and nobody will trade for him. So they're paying him to not play.
But they traded for him why'd they trade for him?
Because Russell Westbrook was very adamant about leaving Houston.
Yeah, but you could have done better than a guy that's never going to play. It's never going to really want to play for you, I guess. That whole situation was ugly, though. That was the whole Cousins and Harden and Wall were all there at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Is Cousins still teamless? He's still teamless, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I still can't believe it. I mean,
really.
can.
Yeah, it's less and less crazy every season.
If the NBA went to a half court game where you only had to play one side of the court, boom,
he's gonna be a big three. He's gonna be a big three superstar.
Oh my gosh, he might become the big three all-time leading scorer before he's done.
Yo, sign him up. Call up Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm.
because the popularity's still there. You know, people want to see him back out there, but it's just
can't play.
Doesn't have much left. Yeah, he doesn't have much left.
Yeah. So wrapping up tonight, guys. Final thoughts on tonight's game.
Schroeder night was enjoyable. Don't get too comfortable with that. Moving on to Cleveland. To me, the crazy part, and we didn't really talk much about it, but I just mentioned it kind of passing, but there were 2.5 games out of first place in the East, which is crazy to think that they could just basically put together like a good week of basketball. And all of a sudden, everyone in the East is looking up to them as opposed to where they were like a week ago. So it's crazy.
Yeah, they were sitting at the bottom of the division, and now all of a sudden, look where they are. But obviously, it's still early in the season, and I'm gonna say to Dennis Schroeder, don't get too comfortable, right? Like, don't think that.
Oh, Jalen coming back, and you know what that means.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, exactly. Especially when Jalen comes back. And so I'm just afraid he's gonna say, "Oh, until Jalen comes back, I can," yes and no, right? Especially against a team like Cleveland. Their backcourt they're gonna have to really defend these guys. To slow them down. But for the most part, I think there's a good chance we see the other Schroeder was just trying to help people out. A lot of what we saw right before Jalen went down, The only thing is that I just want to see him get that ball out of his hands a little sooner. That's my only thing. Like he's not always out there trying to get his, but he holds that ball for quite a while. It's kind of like 2012 Rondo in a way. Good things would happen, but it was like, damn, Ray John, you got to hold the ball for 18 seconds.
I forget about 2012 Rondo, man. Damn, Josue.
The worst Schroeder is the one who. That's what the number one comment we get in the chat is. Schroeder just dribbles the ball for 18 seconds on the clock. That's the worst Schroeder. The one where he gets it and just goes 1,000 miles an hour towards it. He is just lightning fast. Aggressive Schroeder is great. It just puts such pressure on the defense. And it's just something we haven't seen. Nobody does that on this team. Nobody did it last year. Yeah. Jalen does it in spurts. And when he does, it's great because he just goes by people and you're like, do that.
He's on cruise control. Yeah.
And then he kind of disappears or goes in and out sometimes. But he has games when he's doing it and you're like, oh, my God, do that all the time. Schroeder's the only guy that does it at will. He's so freaking fast. And yeah, it can be sloppy. He threw a couple passes to nobody, being out of control, but as Jimmy said, everybody on this team is the something experience, and that is the Dennis Schroeder experience. You're not going to get 38 points, but you're going to get playmaking, and he's going to make stuff happen, and he's going to be aggressive. So
what do we get in Cleveland? We're going to get an experience. One of those games, right? Could we get a Neesmith experience maybe?
No, probably not. Probably not.
You're like, no.
My final point is, listen, when it comes to Dennis Schroeder, the haters are going to hate, and the players are going to play. As long as Dennis Schroeder just keeps playing his game, he's just going to keep playing his game. And I'll leave by just saying, any win the Celtics get with Jaylen Brown off the court is a good win.
Who starts when Jalen's back?
That's 2.
Who's the point guard when Jalen comes back?
Smart.
It's gonna be Marcus. Yeah, it's gonna be Marcus.
Maybe
they're not going to make a major change like that.
It'll still be Marcus.
Should it be?
Yes. For now, we will revisit this in 2022.
I mean,
I'm sure we will.
I mean, should it be?
Yes. Because it's not about which guy is playing better. It's who's the better fit with that group.
Who's the better fit? I don't know. Who is the better fit? I guess we'll find out in time. Marcus is a better fit, but based on being a mediocre team for the last couple seasons, I guess. Yeah, he's the better fit. I don't know.
What you think? Schroeder's like the stimulus package that's going to jumpstart everything? Come on.
And he did tonight. Listen to this. I know that Marcus is going to be the starting point guard just because it's like the easy thing to do and whatever. And you know what? They might need Schroeder off the bench anyways to spark the team. It doesn't really matter who starts. It matters who finishes. Schroeder's been in like the starting lineup, closing games left and right. So I don't really care who starts. But if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he's going to find himself in meaningful minutes. Probably along Smart. Both those guys need to be in the game, to be honest. So
I think John wants to see him in the starting lineup.
John's baiting right now.
Right?
I don't know what I want to see.
If I had to guess, I would guess you want to see him in the lineup and take Al, have him come
I looked at some numbers. It's fairly close overall. It's like it said, a lot of it comes down to how does everybody in the starting lineup play with each guard, not what does each guard give the game, you know? And it's actually not like lopsided. So then it becomes situationally who helps you more off the bench or who helps that second unit.
Right.
And what's funny is, like I just the smart thing just I don't know. It's just not a point guard. I actually like him better with Schröder out there too, even though he's not really a great shooter for an off-ball guard here. But he has the ball in his hands a little bit less when Schroeder's on the court, and that suits him better. And he's forced to have the ball a little bit more. And you're just not seeing the true point guard thing that you want to see out of Marcus. So I don't love it, but numbers wise, Tatum and Brown are roughly the same ish, or they had been on and off with those guys. So maybe Schroeder's better because he's coming in and you need that offense with that second unit. I don't really know. I don't think it's a knockout, one way or the other. It's easy to see Schröder and say, I like what he's doing better than what Marcus is doing, but I don't know that's the whole story. It really is. Who are those guys better with right now? And I don't think it's definitive, right? I don't think it's definitive.
So your answer is you don't know.
I don't know yet. I don't know. I mean, I don't love.
I agree. I mean, I don't think we need to know right now. It's very early in the season, but
because
it's all
Schroeder's
going to
take a lot of shots away from those guys, and I don't know if that's what you necessarily want. You're looking for people to make their lives easier. Just Marcus isn't doing it at the level we want him to right now. So. I don't know.
I think, honestly, though, think of it like this, though. Schröder kind of needs to take some shots away from those guys to keep the defense honest. You don't want to, that's what Marcus Smart was saying.
It's a fair point. Yeah.
So Marcus Smart was saying is everybody knows that these two guys are going to take the shots. So now, guess what? You have a third guy who can take the shot. So let's just see how that goes.
Gun to my head, I'd be leaning Schröder because I want to see it, and I'd like to see it for a sustained period of time. I've seen enough Marcus to know what the ceiling is, not to think I know what the ceiling is, and it doesn't. I was hoping for better, and we haven't seen it yet. So I would consider a switch just to see what it's like.
But you can put Smart back in his natural position, which appears to be shooting guard, because he's not really the distributor that. I think people were hoping to see in that role change. So you can still make it work with both of them out there. It doesn't need to be in the starting lineup, but at the end of games, at certain points in the games, you're going to see them both out there a lot.
Yeah,
and it is
then
what
the
it
question
is.
Scrapping double big, which I'm not totally against because I think Al, I'm afraid we're killing the poor guy.
Right.
He's looked a little cooked on and off, in the last couple of games. And I'd rather see him in the 20 to 25 minute range than 30 plus per night. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if you went, with a smaller lineup to start. Again, matchup dependent, but could you go Marcus, Schröder, Jalen, Jayson, and Rob and survive against some teams? Yeah, and bump Horford to the bench. I think that might be a better lineup for you. And then you mix and match obviously the rest of the way. But I definitely. I'm a little worried about Al. I'm a little worried about burning Al out.
Sure, that's a fair worry. I think that they're cognizant of it though. I don't think that they're gonna let. I would hope that they wouldn't let it get to that point because they don't need to. They have other lineups that they can go to.
Yeah.
Toss Ennis Cantor in there. My guy Ennis Cantor's waiting to get some burn.
Yeah, Zannis, stop treating him like he's KG in 2013. Jeez, he's all right.
Who?
You.
Horford.
You're treating Al like he's gonna break any minute. I know, but it's not like he has an extensive. I'm not gonna.
35. Oh my god. Retirement home.
He doesn't have an extensive injury history.
No, he just is old. He's old. He's an old guy. 35 for a big. That's a lot of miles on those tires.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's injury history. It's a pound. Like those guys take a pounding, man. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, some stuff is working right now. Cleveland's a fun team, and actually should be interesting to watch this game. With Mobley in there, and they've got some, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. So those will be fun back to back. Well, not back to back. It's one day off.
They wish it was back to back. They can get the heck out of that city.
Yeah. But I'm digging some stuff that I'm seeing there. I think It'll be a fun couple of games there. What's Cleveland's record this year? They're pretty good, right?
They're decent right now.
8-6 or something.
Yeah,
8-5.
They're playing well.
They have a better record than Celtics. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ruby,
8-5.
Rubio versus Schröder. That's a fun one. Couple of Euros going at it.
I like it,
Should be
man.
fun.
I like it. Sexton, Garland, Mobley's been great. They've got like this will be an interesting one because they've got like 7 centers, you know?
Will be. They're surprising some people.
Yeah,
Sure.
they're good. So that'll be good. We'll be back on Saturday. Not everybody, but some of us. And we will bring you a show, and then we'll be back on Monday as well. So make sure you check us out. Subscribe to all our YouTube channels. We've also got Patriots on Sunday. I'll promo that a little harder. Tomorrow it's all Cleveland this weekend. It's Cleveland.
Cleveland rocks, baby.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's a full dose of Cleveland.
OBJ spurned your team.
Cleveland is the
He went to a situation where he might not see a pass, and he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna chill.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. You bitched and moaned about not getting a pass in Cleveland, and then you went to one of the best offenses in the NFL. So what, you can be the 3rd or 4th option out there? I don't understand that at all.
I didn't get that. It seemed Casey and Packers would have been the best 2 because he would have been the clear number 2 option with outstanding quarterbacks. I didn't get Seattle or the Rams as possibilities, and the Patriots if you wanted to be the guy, but I wouldn't have come here either. You know.
But I'll say what, and you can agree with this. If Tom Brady's quarterback of the Patriots, OBJ signs within 1 second, and he's suiting up Sunday, and he goes for 110 and 2 touchdowns against Cleveland.
Yeah, it would.
That's the difference.
He would have signed instantly. Yeah.
Everyone thought that
he was dying for that a couple years ago. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. Thanks for hanging. We will see you we hope to see you all back here on Saturday.